Hey, welcome to the Crazy Dre Podcast Show, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We have less than 2 hours to pick the March Madness 2026 brackets. Here are my little take about these teams that I'm going to pick not to win or not to lose, but are very catching my eye. And I'll tell you why I think that they may go somewhere far in the tournament. So I'm going to go with this team first. I got to go with Purdue, folks. I have to go with Purdue. Uh, Based on what I watched Purdue versus Michigan, not only did I just watch the game, they just looked really on spot, on cue, on everything. It's a good time to be on a hot streak. It's a good time to be going into the tournament with a big win against Michigan. I think this team is a lot more talented than they look from the outside looking in. I think if you have Brandon Smith, Fletcher Laura, and Oscar Clough, which I would say this Oscar Clough and Trey Kaufman-Renn are going to be the two key players that will have to have a good game. They're going to have to, especially Clough, is going to have an interior defense presence. He's going to have to get those rebounds along with Trey Kaufman-Renn. Those two guys are going to have to do a lot more work than anything else in the world to make them go far in the tournament. But I do think things can line up for them. I don't see them in a panic attack mode, but I do think that the one thing that they're going to have to be concerned with is if Brandon Smith and and Fletcher Lower is not they're not hitting 3 pointers, that might be a problem. But again, with Clough and Kaufman-Renn, if they can get those rebounds, second chance shots, they have a possibility because sooner or later, Fletcher and Brandon Smith will get hot. If they get hot in the right time, that team can keep moving on up. So watch that team in itself. I'm going to have to embrace Arizona. Arizona has not been in the tournament for at least 2001 or three. But I will say this about Arizona. I think Arizona has the best team out there. They had the best uh, uh, record when it comes down to beating ranking teams. They beat Florida, UConn, even though UConn's going on the way down a little bit. UConn got beaten by St. John's. I do kind of like St. John's in this picture too, but uh, they beat Alabama, Houston, Kansas, and it just this team looks really put together. It just seems like even with them playing those two rookies, not rookies, but freshmen, uh, uh, backcourt guys, they have a chance. They really do. I just think that maybe the experience in the background of the backcourt is going to be a little bit iffy, but based on who they beat, I just don't see them, being flustered. I really don't. When you have Ivan Kachukov, I don't even know if I pronounced that name correctly, but he looks like a beast in the mold. Tob Aw- Awaka, uh, that's another guy that you go and think about. This team's just put together real well. So I'm gonna pick Arizona. I am going to talk about Michigan. Now, even though I'm a Michigan fan, even though that might be the best team since the Fab Five, or even in 2013 with Trey Burke, I do think that Michigan might have some issues. And I will tell you this: if Elliot could do and if he's not on, if he's not making his shots and he's giving up turnovers, this team's gonna struggle. Now, when you got Lenenberg in there, he can sometimes be very half chalant and not want to be center of the attention. However, Lenenberg is going to have big games almost every game. he cannot really go 6 points or 8 points or having a bad field goal day. He's going to have to get to the free throw line if he's having problems shooting the ball. I will say that uh, uh, another issue that you're going to have with Michigan is Ada Mora, and this is the guy. He's 7 foot 3 4. Uh, if he doesn't keep himself out of foul problems, the interior of Michigan will be effective immediately. Teams will go into the paint right away. They'll score on Michigan. They'll just get that momentum that happened with Purdue when that day Mara uh, was out of the game. Purdue just kind of flushed it into Clough and let uh, uh, Kaufman Kaufman Ray Renette score. So Michigan will have their spots. I think Cadeau is going to have his game on. He's just going to have to have a good game. Normaya Burnett is another player that comes off the bench. He's going to be another situation where he's going to have a great game in himself. And everyone knows that LJ Kassan, Carson, he's he's injured. So that's going to be a problem for Michigan itself. It's going to be a shorter bench. Uh, Dustin May tried to put a couple guys in there to give Cadeau a rest, but it didn't really work out. So that's how you got to look at this thing. Michigan will have to have Morris Johnson Jr. have a big game too. So uh, Michigan's got athletic guys, big guys with Lenenberg, Johnson Jr., and Mara. If those guys can protect the paint, hit their shots, and I'm not just saying like dunks and alley oops, but if they can get the outside shot going for them, things could look up. But again, it's all about rebounding, right? Everything's about rebounding, getting your second chance shots, and everything else going for you. Uh, a lot of you guys get all flustered with me because I don't pick Michigan State this year to go far at all. I think Michigan State's got a kind of a big problem. Even though Cooper and Kohler are probably your best players on that team when it comes down to consistency, I just don't see them being able to carry the team. Now you can go with Cone, uh, but Cone is the type of guy that needs the ball to be touched. He needs the ball in his hands. He needs to be where the ball will enter the paint, where he's going to be primarily the player to grab it, and you got to make plays happen around Cone. I just think that you're just going to have to. Uh, Again, with Pierce Jr., if he doesn't get frustrated with the rest of the opponents playing defense or with his teammates or with the referees, I think that Michigan State could do something. However, if Michigan State with Fears Jr. and Cone get into foul problems, I think they'll have a very difficult time moving on. I just don't. I just think that the maturity level of Fears Jr. will probably catch up with them, and I think that if Cone is not the center of the universe to be able to at least, he needs at least about 15 points per game for Michigan State to go somewhere. I just really think that uh, you got this guy, this kid who's a great athlete, but if he's not touching the ball, you're not going nowhere. And again, nothing to say against Cooper or Kohler. I think those guys will give you the best effort. Though, if they both can get you 10 points in each of those games that they play, I think it's great. I think Fierce is going to have to at least get 15 of his own, and and Cone is going to have to do something magical. 25 points here, 20 points. something big has to happen for that team to actually move on. Any of the players in the starting five, if they only get about 10 points each, it's not going to work for them. This is the where Izzo will figure something out. I don't know if he has the talent for it, but a lot of people have been giving Izzo crap about not being Mr. March Madness or Mr. March anymore. The title, they say that should be given away to someone else. But to me, I mean, it's kind of like he earned it in his early part of his career. The college basketball platform has changed. Uh, Michigan State as a school isn't really the place to go for like recognition and all that type of stuff, unless it was early 2000s with Izzo as a very young coach. But in the NIL, I think that Izzo is really stubborn about not pursuing players and cashing them out, and he has a good point for that. I mean, looks at, and I should bring this up about Lenenberg too. Lenenberg, it was also told about uh, Kentucky was going to give him $9 million to show up in Kentucky jersey. Lenenberg decided not to do that because he wanted to not mess his future up, to take cash. Uh, and he personally didn't like the fact that Kentucky was trying to feed him money, and Dusty May was trying to feed him knowledge about, will make you a better player, your teammate, and so on and so forth. So there, I mean, that's basically what I'm going to keep it at. That I do think that Arizona is going to go all the way. I just think so. I think Michigan will, you know, if Cadeau's not shooting well, I think that they'll have problems. I do think that, people on this platform are probably going to ask me why I didn't talk about um, Duke or North Carolina. I think Duke has too many injuries, and I think that if Duke relies too much on Cameron Boozer, it's just going to be too much for him. Uh, when you lose two guys on your team that are primarily uh, good athletes and good scorers, uh, there's no way around it. I think Boozer is just going to get worn out. Um, Teams will play double team on him right away. I just don't see the talent base on that team actually spreading the ball out and making things happen. It could. A lot of people have Duke going out far, very far, but I just really can't see that. North Carolina, I think Hubert Davis is kind of their weakest link. I think that he is a coach, a good coach, but I think that with Kalen Wilson being out, I just can't figure out why they haven't been able to play better with other guys who are not hurt on that team. I just don't get it. So uh, I think North Carolina may make it to the final eight, elite eight. I think Duke, you can always expect them to do something, but I really can't see them going to the final four. I give them like the elite eight as well. So, and then I should also talk about St. John's. I think that St. John's biggest asset is Coach Pitino. I think that that team just beat UConn, and he's turned that St. John's program completely around. They will have a 3-point struggle on that event of going into the tournament. I think that the depth chart that Patino has will create issues for St. John's because he rides his on his starters a lot and he doesn't trust the bench. You know, I haven't been able to like do the historic view of Pacino, but that's what they tell me. They tell me that that Rick Pitino will not really rely on the bench and ride his five horsemen or five starters to do something and to carry the team. But there you have it. I'm going to leave it at that. Tell me, what do you guys think? I'm on. Join me back again on a podcast. I'm gonna have one for Tuesday, maybe for Monday. Uh, but cheers and good luck, everyone, on your bracket.